moss cleaning. Prior to setting all this shit up, I was like, why don't you use some of the sea moss and make some tea, you know, wet your whistle, get your voice ready for this video. I got this sea moss from Raising Roots. This sea moss is actually from St. Lucia. All sea moss, just similar to like vegetables and fruits, depending on where they're grown, it can look very different. This one is very dried out, which I like because preservation, and I like to keep it for a long time and just clean it as needed. But I've gotten other sea moss that even in its dried form has a little like squish to it if you touch it. I'm also about to vacuum seal this sea moss. I received it like this, so I want to portion it because let me tell you how many times I have failed at estimating how much raw sea moss goes into making just like a jar of gel. I did also want to show what the consistency of the gel is after it sets in the fridge. So the consistency of the pour is always, you know, just similar to like salad dressings and sauces. You put it in the fridge and that shit sets. So okay, so it's like super firm to the touch. It's really like a true gel. Like, I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of gels you're used to, but moral of the story, buy the raw sea moss. So let's get into this cleaning. Here is what it looks like in raw form. You can see as I'm pointing at some of the debris that's in there that will come out when it starts to swell. Even when the water hits it, you can kind of see like the composition changing a little bit. Even in that first couple hours, it will change dramatically. Give it a good rub down in that first rinse, like it's the pre-washing machine era and we're hand washing some clothes. We can see some residue in there. Some of them you will be able to pull out, but most of it will really just come out in that first swell. I did use tap water for the initial rinse, but be sure to use filtered water for those first and second soaks. I like to add some lemon slices in my sea moss soak. It kind of helps to cut, depending on the sea moss that you get, you know, that it has a very specific flavor, and I feel like it helps to cut the flavor. It also helps with preservation. This is a sea moss the morning after, so probably about 12 to 14 hours later. So basically what I'm gonna do for that, I am going to do my second rinse and transfer it into this bowl, just so it has more room for all my mistakes. The pinch test, as I like to call it, is when you take your fingernail and try to slice through a piece of the sea moss. As you could see in that last clip, it was not that easy. I had to put in a little oomph. I had to put in a little elbow grease to do it, and that's how you know it's not ready. Boom. Okay, so we are getting our second rinse on, putting the sea moss in a larger bowl. That is just so much sea moss. Please look at the caption and don't make the same mistakes I do. Maybe about 10 hours following that, the sea moss is ready. We are done with our second soak. I'm rinsing it one more time. I like to add maybe about half the volume of water to the blender, but you'll find in the stores that every sea moss consistency, sea moss gel, is very different. So you'll find what works for you. Maybe you like it a little thicker, maybe you like it a little thinner. Oh my goodness. That pour with the sunset is just, beautiful. And this is how much I made with that amount of raw sea moss. As you can see, it is way too much for one person. Okay, so let's really get into how to do this the right way. 30 grams of raw sea moss will make you a 32 ounce wide mouth mason jar size of gel using the water to raw sea moss ratio that I provided in this video. I received 16 ounces, which is really gonna last me the whole year, and it's why I'm trying to be intentional about portioning it out. Raising Roots sells their sea moss in 4 ounce, 8 ounce, and 16 ounce
size options. So you don't have to overcommit. You can give it a try. Even the 4 ounce would make you 4 jars of sea moss, which is amazing. That's what it's all about. Boosting our immune systems, having control of what goes into our bodies, and ultimately stopping the cycle of overestimating how much raw sea moss we need to make some gel.